Hello, everybody. Welcome. Rose is Psych Investigator. Hell, Everybody, welcome. Rose is Psych Investigator. So guys, I was talking. I hadn't recorded, but first thing to say is I have been absent for it was like a day or two. I was supposed to come back yesterday, but I I came to make the video in front of the screen, and I just picked up this energy, and it was really intense. It was very stormy. I just felt like there was this electrical energy that was not right. And on top of that, as I was feeling it, then my computer, my keyboard stopped responding to the computer commands. And I kind of freaked out for a bit because I couldn't even like use a pad, like nothing was working, type your password, nothing. Until I turn off the force, turned it off, not do the restart, but shut it down. And then it worked. But the point is, there's all this like energy, this intense energy. And so what I did instead of making the video is that I meditated and I got information. And I made these little drawings. I think it would be interesting, okay, to show you. It's just about this idea that screens, I mean, it may be obvious, right? But I just really yesterday, I felt like screens have this like, almost like this buzz that is not positive at all. And it's not just about the content. Of course, it's this interactive content, but I felt this like almost like attack from the screens. They're sending this energy that is so, whoa, like so negative that it can get into your personal space, right? Your personal, like your body or aura, whatever you call it. I just felt it. And so I stopped and didn't do the video. Instead, I meditated, cleared, and got information that I want to share with you about how to deal with this if it happens to you. Okay, because and I think it happens to all of us, to be honest, that we're living in a time when interacting with social media, internet is very negative, like even YouTube, because we pick up on these vibes. And I do think that the dark energies are going through this period where they want to kind of convert us and to make us quote unquote behave, and it's not happening. And the answer really is to, before we interact with any of this, to be centered, to do meditation, to feel like we feel the peace within. And then we can interact with it, but with much more detachment. Because this is the battle, quote unquote, that we're dealing with. This is like vibrational slash content battle. And the best thing to do is to detach so that you don't feel it physically, like what comes from them. And instead you project you clear your energy and then you use your light to project onto these things so that it never really impacts you in that disruptive way. Okay. Of course we have empathy and we get impacted and we do what we can, but doesn't make sense. It's like I feel like they want to create this world of like darkness where they are the only ones who know how you should feel. And so, okay, so that's that. But before I start, I want to say happy Halloween. I'm not gonna go out this year. I don't know, just want to preserve my energy, like I said. And in every sense, I do have to run a couple of errands, so it might be. We'll see. Probably going to see people wearing costumes, so that will be interesting. Okay, but let's do the protection. I'd like to ask for protection, a beautiful ray of lights coming on top of my head as I breathe in. I feel my lungs as I breathe out. I create a circle. I create a circle. I step into it. I step into it. I feel protected. I feel connected. I'd like to ask that information come only from the highest sources, that it create the good and all the good, and so it is. Okay, so this is it. Okay, this is the spot. Now let me show you the this. Okay, so wait, hold on. So okay, here. Oh, hold on. Oh no, no, again. Okay. So you're protecting your energy, right? On one side, it's you with the yellow here. It's doodles. And then the phone on another. But the blue here is just creates this barrier and to not. Oh, and the other thing, guys, I got, it's so funny. I got, because I realized I was, sometimes I have a sleep problem and I got distracted. So I bought a phone lock with a timer. So at night, I put my phone in there and I can and only in the afternoon can I open it, like around lunchtime, can I open it again? And it helped me a lot because you get so distracted by the phone, right? So, okay. So again, assume that your phone has negative energy, that you're going to encounter this energy when you interact with the internet the phone and such. And here is, I know it sounds maybe a little hard to read, but this is you in your personal space, let's say. And the below here, little crystals or your hands or whichever way you could imagine just being protected, create a bowl around yourself. I personally um, I've been using crystals until I feel that there's total stabilization. If I feel any kind of like anything that is not in harmony with the energy, then I stay. Okay. And once you feel that, then you can move like, it's clear, and then you can touch your phone. You can work with the phone. And that's how I feel right now. And this is the cross here, meaning that you are protected. Nothing crosses you, nothing goes into your energy, right? Okay. And here is you here in blue meditating. And then as you're meditating, imagining that there's like this light coming out of your fingertips, right? And when you think of anything, like for example, that Trump tried to cut SNAP benefits and all this dozens of millions of people going hungry because of the decisions, I sent energy to remove the willingness to do that, to remove the decision that will harm people. Right. So sending the energy, and it's not sending energy. Some people could say, oh, send energy. I don't know that. That is like, I want something. I think it's very important at this moment to be specific, because what happens, I think, in our lives is that when we interact with specific news that are negative, then these specific things make us feel a certain way. So therefore, you should target the specific news, not the overall. Okay. So, so, okay. So that's that. All right. So just sending. So whenever I come across anything that was like, oh my God, what? Just sending it. Okay. Okay. And then here is the image of our hands sending this yellow lights to the orange man, right? Anything, it could be around him, or any efforts uh, to undermine the country, destroy the financial system, whatever. So I can picture him wanting to destroy the financial system. Let's say, oh, he's said that he wants to take down the Federal Reserve. And it's, guys, and it's not a question. It's a very subjective thing. Not everybody thinks the same thing, but it's whatever it touches you on a personal level. I'm not looking for objectivity. It's really extremely subjective. It's whatever you think will, if you think of something that you believe will harm others, focus on that, whatever that is. I'm not here, it's not up for discussion, really. Okay. All right. So this is this part. Okay. So now let's go to topics. So now this is really interesting. It's captivated my attention in the last this morning so far, but this was a really interesting. I think there's a very interesting development going on, which is that there's a clear rift on the right. So what's happened here is that the president of the Heritage Foundation, we know they are behind Project 2025, right? They have sided with Tucker Carlson. Because Tucker Carlson, here it is, Heritage Foundation says they're sticking by Tucker Carlson after his Nick Fuentes interview. They had edited a page about their sponsorship of Carlson's show to remove mentions of Carlson, sparkling speculation that they were ditching him. And here is, I don't think we need to hear his voice, but he's stating the opposite. In fact, it is.
I'll have more in the coming days.
I don't hear. Clear one thing is Christians can critique the state of Israel without being anti-Semitic. And of course, anti-Semitism should be condemned. My loyalty as a Christian is to Christ and first into America always. United States, sir, to cooperate with, to do so with the partnerships on security, intelligence, technology. But when it doesn't, conservatives should feel no obligation to reflexively support any foreign government, no matter how loud the pressure becomes from the so-called globalist class so by the way, globalist is a Russian term. Okay, it clearly comes, it's a long story, the origin of this, but it comes from Durgin, right, and Russian propaganda. So just the fact that he's using that term and taking it seriously is troubling. The Heritage Foundation didn't, okay, so does that make sense? So this is, I think, very, very relevant because Um, because so the story is, and honestly, it doesn't matter too much, but I think it's important in light of what's going on in this country, right? So we have the right wing has all these like I guess factions, and the whole thing with Charlie Kirk was that the person who killed him supposedly is a so-called Groyper. Now, Groyper is this subculture headed by Nick Fuentes, who is very anti-Semitic. So, and Tucker Carlson, he has, it's pretty obvious that he has taken the Russian position, I think. And it's not just about Israel, it's about many things. Okay. I'm not saying like that he is wrong or right or whatever, but I'm just saying that it's really interesting because then we see people like Ted Cruz attacking the Heritage Foundation, which is like so interesting to me because and it's always like, guys, these like ultra right things and all this the history of the world whenever there's these radical movements like the right wing, they always try to like there's a fight for power. I think here and there, it's always about the what is it called? The purity test, right? Oh no, but I'm more right wing than you are, and the other like, no, you're not. Because the evangelical Christians are very pro-Israel because there's some kind, I don't know exactly what the way they interpret scripture or whatever that is. I don't know. There's something about the rap. I don't need to know really, but to me, it's a significant because they're speaking out against each other, right? And this is fracturing the whole conversation, right? So for example, it's so weird to me, by the way, Stephen Miller, right? Did you see the wife? She was attacking wife of Stephen Miller was attacking some guy in some show, and she's like, oh, like, and it was just like she was saying, I'm a Jewish woman, but it was like weird because to me, it's like, why are you so into the white supremacist thing? She does not look white to me. Okay, if you're white supremacist, it's kind of a problem. Are you supposed to be white? I think, but it's just weird to me, like the whole. I just don't get. Honestly, sometimes I'm like, what the hell? What's wrong with you? And it's just very, very interesting, fascinating. And yeah, and so here we are, right, with the battle between the fact that the Heritage Foundation that created Project 2025 came out and said that they're basically, in a way or another, anti-Israel, and then a lot of the Trump people uh saying that they side with what was it? I honestly, guys, I don't. Essentially, everybody like Ted Cruz and the old school evangelicals, I guess. So it's very, and the fact that this guy, this because this Nick Fuentes person is an openly anti-Semitic person. Like it's not, he's not subtle about it, and he's like an Holocaust, and I like it's a lot of things, right? It's not like so, and I think putting aside honestly everything that's happening in Gaza, still it's like it's not okay. Honestly, I think so. So it's just that, but I've always like honestly, and I don't understand some of these people that have like embraced, and truly there's like Jewish people like Stephen Miller and his wife. Oh, they're like, okay, you know what I mean? It's like, no, if you had thought about it, if you had thought through it, you would have known, right? What they've never been secretive about this. So now I want to know also something else about this that what's going to happen because Trump plays, I think Trump is all about using people for his own, right? Whatever ideology creates most division is helpful for him. So, so what's happening here? What is happening? Why? Let me ask like this. Why did Kevin Roberts come out and say, this is like, because again, division is good for us, right? They're falling apart. So what's happening here? Kevin Roberts, why did he? It's like, okay. Mhm. Well, he's another psychopath. He's like, he's like, where's the camera? I have something to say. I'm a leader and I'm this and I'm that. Like, so, wow, it's very interesting because it's saying that they're all kind of like elbowing each other out for power. And he thinks that he has been mistreated. He's very important. And yes, I side with Tucker. And so that's right. There's pressures. Wow, I see that it's very interesting. The whole thing of like the whole like Palestine protesters, like they were very aggressive, like the pro-Israel people, right? They went after people. They did a lot of things that are controversial, to say the least. People lost their, like, it was serious, right? And now they're going after. I feel like, right, it's getting to the point that they're starting to go after some of these other people, and it's not working. They're pushing back. And they're pushing back because there's no unity, right? They want, and it tells me, no, Rose, it goes back to those messages supposedly of Charlie Kirk, that he said that there was, that it was about the idea that the pro-Israel people were trying to convert him, and ultimately he was pro-Israel. And honestly, I don't even remember anymore the details, because not that I don't keep up with all the details, right, about those right-wing people, but it's significant again because it's their base, and the base is split, right? And so the other thing that I think is very interesting, that this is, I think, uncontroversial. Since the Gaza war started, the opinion about Israel has gone down, I think, worldwide, right? This is a fact. I think people look down more than before because of it. So, but somehow I think because of the Russia influence on the base, right? They attack Israel a lot, and I think a lot of those, like, there's, the whole, like, I can't pick up the whole thing of like the undertone about the banking, the banking, whatever they call it. It's always, there's this anti-Semitic undertone about the whole Wall Street, is all this stuff. So, but anyway, let's continue here because it's interesting. It's interesting. Let me ask, what's going to happen, and what's happening here? What is what? So that's right. He came out because he wants. I'm so powerful. I'm so good. I'm so good. Okay. Wow. Very, guys, something really, really interesting is happening now. Wow. Wow. So what happens? What happens to him? Who wins? Wow. So something, unexpected here. So, okay. So I see Kevin Roberts, and he is like, I told you, this ego trip. Like, I'm so special and so great. I'm some sort of like a figure that needs attention. Something like his, the ego trip, kind of like a cult leader type ego trip. Then I see the image that it takes me, which that's what I was saying is very unexpected, is Karl Rove. Now, Karl Rove was the advisor to George Bush, and he was so I think supposedly, it's not controversial to say, he was the mastermind that carved George Bush, the younger, right, into his political career. And I have a couple of books. It's actually in storage. I haven't gotten rid of them, but it's about Kolarov because I was always kind of like interested in this. And I remember part of it that I was reading that talked about how Kolarov was the one who I think started with Reagan, but he really pushed the proximity to the Christian right. And so it shows me that Kolarov was like, wow, this is where we are now. And I'm responsible for it. I started this whole thing where saying they wanted to use the religious rights for their own purposes. And now the religious right is not stupid, right? They're like, we want to use you. Does it make sense? So now so over time, right, they merged. And what's happening is that they're the religious right within the right, which is, I think, most of it anyway, is trying to take full power and truly to the so-called Christian government, which is essentially authoritarianism. They don't, and I see that it's not about religion, it's about their power, right? It's about like controlling women and all that. So then I see, weirdly enough, that with the Bush people, for so it's showing me, or maybe it's the old school Republicans, they wrestle the power, they remove Kevin Roberts. And they end up removing, and I looked into Tucker, and also he was arrested because I think is that our connection, right? So that was really interesting to me. So in some ways, I think the Republicans are forced to have to abandon. And that sounds crazy to me. So that's why I'm telling you. I mean, not now, right? As this whole thing, the collapse starts, because that's this other uh like push for power, right? The power, like the winning power. Does it make sense? It's like they're all jostling for power. And so, and I'm telling it's telling me this. Yeah, and I think the whole Israel thing got too big for them. Because I always thought again that they were very pro-Israel because of the whole religious thing. But it turns out now that they're like, no, not like that. Not like that. Saying Rosa, they're like they follow pretty much the whole Russia thing of like the Western, Western thing, Judeo-Christian thing, but not as saying, but the Jews are not supposed to be more important than the Christians. Like that's the whole thing. So this is really fascinating. And then, wow, wow. So okay. So let me go back here to the vision. So then I saw again, because I think Ted Cruz, like it shows me those are sort of like old school Republicans in that way. I don't know what they call it, old school, but you know what I'm saying? Like those, like that. So why is the Ted Cruz upset? Because it's too much. It's saying the debate, that like radical kind of conversation was never supposed to be the main course. It's supposed to be something you eat outside or like a snack or something. Now they want to be in the center, and that's not okay. It's not. And I see that Ted Cruz knows about the data. So, but I have a question: aren't the Republicans stealing elections? What difference does it make? It's not about the elections, it's about who has power. So, okay, I have a question. What about Elon Musk? Because technically, I think it's Elon Musk with Russia versus the other people. I think Elon Musk has always been very anti-Semitic, so I think I don't even have a question about it. But what's happening? What's going to happen? Like, who is going to win this battle? You're saying Peter Thiel, of course, he's like definitely saying this is anti-Semitic. Okay. So is this interesting? It's so interesting, JD Vance. Okay. Okay. So that's right. I see that those are old school Republicans still think that there's going to be elections. Have to think of elections and say we can't be so unpopular because that creates a real problem. And the tech bros that are close to Tucker Carlson, all that, they think, humanity can be controlled. It is what it is, whatever it is, right? So tell me, how does this end? How does this? Okay, that's right. I see that guy, Russ Vought, also being close to, of course, the Heritage Foundation. So I see they want to remove Stephen Miller because he's Jewish. How interesting. Okay, this is I it was not on the bingo card. So, oh, and it goes back, guys, to a vision I had before of the moment when J.D. Vance thinks that he's in power and he wants to immediately fire Stephen Miller. He doesn't like Stephen Miller because they want to put some other tech bro in his place. So, okay. So, wow. So what's happening? And okay, and tell me now about Trump, because how does Trump see this? How does this help or hinder Trumpism? It's saying, no, he's falling apart. Everybody knows it's right. They know that Trump is really sick. Therefore, they're preparing for the moment when they're going to have to pick. Okay. Wow. So tell me, okay, so tell me what happens. That's right. Because, and then, guys, I would troll people. I would say to them, listen, listen, you owe everything that off. You need to pay back what they did for you. No, because I actually agree with that. I'm not obviously no fan of Russia, but for those people to like use that, they're so naive, right? They think that Russia, you'd be like, oh yeah, just get my elections done, okay, and say hi, like, and pretend to what? Like they want something back. Okay, it's saying so, and that's right. A lot of those very ultra pro Israel people, they're like trying to put Russia on the corner, and it's not going to work. So there will be this. So what's going to happen here? That's right. I see that now. I see Mitch McConnell and others like being like, We have to take power back because they want to control. Okay, so, all right. Okay, so let's see here. Let me go back here because now then we'll go back to the article. Okay, Heritage President backs Tucker Carlson after interview with Holocaust denier Nick Fuentes. That's right. Roberts, interviewer posted to X, denounced the venomous coalition and has criticized Carlson and said their attempt to cancel him will fail. Though he didn't specify a name anymore, he said Carlson remains a close friend of the highly influential conservative group and always will be. Roberts, whose group launched Project Esther to combat anti-Semitism, also said Christians can critique the state of Israel without being anti-Semitic. And of course, anti-Semitism should be condemned. The Heritage Foundation's leader, public support of Carlson comes as the former Fox News host faces backlash from conservatives over an inflammatory interview with Fuentes that was laced with anti-Semitism. Carlson said GOP supporters of Israel, including Mike Huckabee and Ted Cruz, suffer from a brain virus, while Fuentes said the big challenge to unifying the country was organized jury. So, wow. So, okay, so that's interesting. All right. So what's next? So it's saying that they will, okay. It's like rats in the sinking ship. That's what I got. Okay. So, and what is, no, I see that again. I see Trump actually enjoys this because he likes when people fight and he has the ultimate power. But neither of them are going to win in the end. I don't think that the Christian right is going to shape this. Let me just ask. So is it the Christian right going to shape the US? Is it what role will like the Heritage Foundation? Actually, no, let's ask about the Heritage Foundation. What is going to happen to the Heritage Foundation going forward? Well, it shows me that they're like, full of like a little house with the mold, like all this black mold, like rotting. That's them now. And it shows me them falling apart and also like burning down or something. It's saying it's a front. It's saying it's a front for a lot of even money laundering. Like they're just doing so many shady things. And it's saying, oh, then it shows me the reversal of Citizens United. And then we're gonna have because we have to do that in order to, like in the future, right, to save this country because these people have taken power. And it's this at this point, guys, it's honestly organized crime. That's what it is, right? They're attacking us, they're going after our rights. So when will this start to be reversed? Their power. Today's October. It's a lot. It'll be a lot of infighting towards the end of the year, and then next year, crumbling all year. It doesn't. This wasn't a question about the government of Trump, but in general, it's saying they have reached their apex, and it's only going down from here. Okay. So, wow. Interesting. Wow. Wow. It's saying because a lot of those people, like even the super right-wing people, they don't want to be seen as like, they want to be in the respected chambers, right? They want to go to the country club. They want to do this and that. They don't want to be, ultimately, they're not that radical in that sense. I mean, they're radical because I don't, to me personally, they don't seem that different, but it's their like they don't want to invite they think of those people as the quote unquote the street people, like the people that they're the thugs, they're the radicals, and then the chambers of politics are different. So that's really interesting. Okay. Wow. Okay. All right. So that's it. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching. Okay, and I'll see you soon. Okay. Bye.